So I tried to make a video about this topic I'm about to talk about already, and as usual, I went off on tangents. And, if it's something that if I watch in a year and don't understand what I'm talking about, then how the hell can I expect anybody else to understand? That's the story of my life. But the consequences of helping. One of the reasons so much is going wrong in the world is because people, and this is something I'm guilty of too, I used to do this all the time. People are helping people in ways that are detrimental to them. And, an easy example when I was younger, I used to just give people advice on how to get away with stuff. And I don't mean like as a criminal, I just mean lying. If you have to keep something secret, or if you have to uh, talk to somebody or do something and you don't want people to know what you're doing. Um, I grew up as an outcast and a wallflower, so I did a lot of, this is, thank God this was before Columbine and all that garbage, but I used to pretend to be crazy to keep people away from me, because I used to get picked on. So it wasn't just like I didn't like people. I didn't like being picked on. And, everybody was friends with everybody or family with everybody. And my family moved in from somewhere else. So I grew up without really having anybody, uh, except, my little brother. And we didn't always get along either, because it's one of those things where it's like, I was so unpopular. He had to distance himself from me just to be able to have friends, which I understand, And even back then, um, I dealt with it. I didn't really like what I just described. I didn't understand when I was younger. I didn't know. I just, I was in my own little world because I didn't have any support. Um, and my mom was overwhelmed, so she could only do so much, you know. And she's a housewife. That's why I mentioned her as having, possibly having to, some way of helping. My dad worked, and he had his own issues to deal with when he wasn't working. And my family had 7 kids, so just imagine. Uh, we're not a conservative family. Our family's a liberal family, so having 7 kids was like a big taboo in I would say my extended family. My dad's side of the family. We didn't really know my mom's side of the family. My mom, from what I remember, my grandmother on my mom's side wasn't too happy with my mom marrying a Catholic, um, which I didn't. We were My siblings were raised Catholic, so I was born into a mostly Catholic family. So it's like, when I would hear stuff like that, it was long years after the drama had happened. So I just heard about it. So it's like my own family was just something I heard about. You know, my older siblings moved out as I was growing up. So, I did a lot to, um, I didn't do that much. A lot of it was just doing nothing, you know. Um, Later on, I was dressing in black, and people were, uh, some people were scared, by it, and I thought it was funny that they were scared, because I knew me. It's like being scared of me is kind of comical, but it's the world we're in. Everybody's scared of everybody. But so by the time I got to college, skipping ahead, by the time I got to college, I started making friends for the first time. I mean, I had friends in high school, but Um, I didn't have as, I mean, I had several friends in college, so, and I would, I was always given shady advice. If you look like you should be doing it, no one will notice if you're doing it. Things like that. Bad advice, advice that comes with long-term consequences to the people that you give it to. And I had no idea. I mean, I grew up in New York. Everybody's shady. The kind of advice I was given, I didn't think was that novel. But you know, now that I know everybody's being spied on constantly, there were people picking up what I was saying and defining me by those things. And they were also defining me by the town I came from, where I had no idea what was going on until a lot later, but I was being judged based on those things. It is insanity, because it has to do with kids, and the kind of entertainment kids get up to. Now, later on, I started understanding what that meant, and then I started understanding some of the kids that I knew when I was young, and why they were so screwed up. But so screwed up. But it's man, it's like it's sad to think about, to be honest, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's America's dirtiest secret. It's trying to pretend Epstein is a big deal compared to what actually goes on. You know, but that's another topic, um, which I've talked about before. But well, I'll talk about it again because there's always new people who have no clue what I'm talking about. And, talking nonchalantly about it like that kind of makes people extremely curious. But about consequences of helping people without knowing what you're doing or who you're helping or the kind of help you're actually giving. People need to be, and this is the house N word, me speaking here, telling everybody what to do. The thing I hate the most. But we have to take the religion issue a lot more seriously because religion has become a fantasy land of wishes and uh, false realities, delusion instead of truth. Um, it's like, you get a stack of science books and math books and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden you can say, well, I can talk about religion because I'm not stupid. Well, humans don't need those books to get through life. Can you farm? Can you raise livestock? Can you hunt and gather? Me neither. So I can't really consider myself that smart of a human when I can't survive without money, money and services that bypass the natural order, conveniences, so to speak. But what's so convenient about things that, if as soon as someone pulls the plug on it, you don't have it and you can't survive. And they can do that to you to make you shut up, or to make you tell other people to shut up. It's called sanctions, by the way, which is should be considered a war crime because it's collective punishment. You're punishing everybody to get them to do what you want. Consequences. We've all been involved because we've been forced to be involved. We've been forced to have opinions, and we've been forced to state those opinions. And that gets us all involved in it. And it's not something we can just step back from either, because that's kind of how a lot of these bad things happen, is they happen when we're not paying attention. When we think we're helping, and next thing we know we've just helped someone get mass murdered, on a national, global scale. So we have to we have to learn to mind our own business, and we have to learn to make up for the mistakes that we've made in the idea that we've been helping others. Freaking 10 minutes is never long enough. Anyways, love y'all.